Panama, a small country with a big story. It's a narrow strip of land, a bridge between continents, a link between oceans. For centuries, Panama has been a crossroads of history. Its strategic location has attracted explorers, conquerors, and traders. They all sought to control its riches and its access to the world. Panama's history is intertwined with the sea. Its coasts, on both the Atlantic and Pacific sides, have been gateways for exploration and trade. The Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century. The fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo stand as testaments to this era. They are imposing reminders of the strategic importance of Panama. These fortresses were strategically placed at the mouth of the Chagres River. This river served as a crucial waterway. It connected the Caribbean Sea to Panama City and the Pacific beyond. The Spanish treasure fleets, laden with gold and silver, would sail from South America. They would make their way to the heavily fortified port of Portobelo. Here, the riches of the New World were offloaded. They were then transported across the isthmus by mule train. The journey was fraught with danger. Pirates and privateers lurked in the shadows, eager to seize the valuable cargo. The fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo were designed to deter these threats. The story of Panama's fortifications begins with the arrival of the Spanish. They came in the 16th century, their ships heavy with ambition. They were driven by the quest for gold and the desire to expand their empire. These conquistadors, hardened by years of conquest, recognized Panama's strategic significance. They saw its potential as a gateway between oceans. The Spanish established settlements and began to exploit the region's resources. They subjugated the indigenous population and imposed their rule. The discovery of vast silver deposits in South America further fueled their ambitions. Panama, situated at the narrowest point between the Atlantic and Pacific, became a crucial link in their transatlantic trade route. The Spanish crown, eager to safeguard its newfound wealth, ordered the construction of fortifications along Panama's Caribbean coast. These fortifications were intended to protect Spanish interests from rival European powers and the growing threat of piracy. The Caribbean, in those days, was a perilous sea. Pirates and privateers, operating with or without the blessing of their governments, preyed on Spanish shipping. Portobelo, meaning beautiful port in Spanish, was more than just a name. It was a vision, a dream of wealth and power. It was here, on the edge of a sheltered bay, that the Spanish chose to establish one of their most important trading centers in the New World. The location was strategic. Ships laden with silver from the mines of Peru could find safe harbor in the natural deep-water port. The town of Portobelo rose quickly. It became a hub of activity, bustling with merchants, sailors, and adventurers from all corners of the Spanish Empire. Warehouses lined the waterfront, their depths overflowing with treasures from across the ocean. Gold, silver, emeralds, pearls, spices. The riches of a continent flowed through Portobello's streets. During the annual trade fairs, the town would swell with visitors. Merchants arrived from Spain, their ships filled with manufactured goods. They traded their wares for the precious cargoes from the South American mines. But this wealth, this dazzling display of opulence, came at a price. The fortifications of Portobelo were not a single entity, but a complex system of forts, batteries and walls designed to protect the town and its harbor from every angle. Dominating the entrance to the bay was the imposing Castillo de San Felipe, also known as the Iron Castle. This massive structure, armed with dozens of cannons, commanded the harbor entrance, making it virtually impossible for enemy ships to enter undetected. On the opposite side of the bay, guarding the narrowest point of the harbor entrance, stood the Fuerte de San Jeronimo. This smaller fort, while less imposing than San Felipe, played a crucial role in the defense of Portobelo. Its guns could rake the decks of any ship attempting to slip past San Felipe's defenses. Connecting these two forts was a series of fortified walls, punctuated by bastions and gun emplacements. These walls encircled the town, protecting it from attack by land. The Spanish left no stone unturned in their quest to make Portobelo impregnable. They even diverted a nearby river to create a moat around the city walls, further enhancing its defenses. Life within the fortifications was a world apart. The fortifications of Portobelo, though weathered by centuries of tropical storms and the ravages of time, still stand today. They are a testament to a bygone era, a time when the fate of empires was decided on the high seas and the riches of a continent flowed through this strategically vital port. Standing atop the ramparts of San Felipe, gazing out over the tranquil waters of the bay, it's easy to imagine the scene centuries ago. The Spanish treasure fleet, sails billowing in the wind, enters the harbor under the watchful eyes of the fort's cannons. The town bustles with activity as merchants prepare to unload their precious cargo. But the tranquility is deceptive. The threat of attack is ever present. Pirates lurk in the shadows, their greed fueled by legends of Portobelo's wealth. The fate of fortunes hangs in the balance. Today, the cannons of Portobelo are silent. The treasure fleets are long gone. Yet, the fortifications remain. They are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a reminder of the region's turbulent past and a testament to the human desire for wealth and power. While Portobelo guarded the riches of Panama, another fortress stood watch further up the Chagres River. This was San Lorenzo, a sentinel guarding the river's mouth and the gateway to Panama City. If Portobelo was the treasure vault, San Lorenzo was the key, ensuring no enemy could ascend the river and strike at the heart of Spanish power. Its location, atop a towering cliff overlooking the river's entrance, was one of strategic brilliance. From this vantage point, San Lorenzo's cannons could control all traffic on the river. No ship could pass without permission. The Spanish engineers, masters of fortification, used the natural terrain to their advantage. Sheer cliffs on three sides made San Lorenzo nearly impregnable to attack by land. The river, its currents swift and treacherous, provided a natural moat. Construction of San Lorenzo began in the late 16th century. It was a formidable task, requiring immense labor and ingenuity. Stone blocks, quarried from nearby hills, were hauled up the steep slopes to build the fortress walls. The Spanish, determined to make San Lorenzo invincible, spared no expense. San Lorenzo, despite its formidable defenses, did not have an easy existence. The fortress faced numerous threats during its lifetime. The humid tropical climate took its toll, eroding stone and weakening mortar. But the human enemy proved far more dangerous than the forces of nature. In the 17th century, the English privateer Henry Morgan set his sights on Panama. Morgan was a ruthless and cunning adversary. He knew that capturing San Lorenzo was the key to plundering Panama City. Morgan and his men landed downriver and hacked their way through the dense jungle. They surprised the Spanish defenders and launched a ferocious assault. The battle for San Lorenzo was a brutal affair. The English, despite being outnumbered, fought with a desperate fury. The Spanish defenders, though taken aback by the sudden attack, fought bravely. Cannon fire thundered across the river. San Lorenzo, like its sister fortress of Portobelo, stands today as a testament to a bygone era. Its weathered walls whisper tales of battles fought and won, of empires won and lost. Standing on the ramparts, one can almost hear the echoes of cannon fire, the clash of steel, the shouts of soldiers defending their post. The jungle, once kept at bay by the constant activity of the fortress, has slowly begun to reclaim its domain. Vines creep over the ancient stones, trees take root in the cracks of the walls. But San Lorenzo endures, a timeless guardian overlooking the river that was once its lifeline. Today, San Lorenzo is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for its historical significance and architectural splendor. Visitors from around the world come to marvel at its imposing structure, to imagine the battles fought within its walls, and to reflect on the passage of time. San Lorenzo is more than just a ruin. The fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo were more than just military installations. They were vital cogs in the Spanish Empire's economic engine. These fortresses guarded the conduit through which flowed the lifeblood of Spain's New World ambitions, silver. The Spanish treasure fleet, a sight to behold, would arrive at Portobelo laden with riches from the mines of Peru. The arrival of the fleet was a momentous occasion, a spectacle that underscored the might of Spain and the wealth of its colonies. Portobelo would come alive during these trading fairs. Merchants from across the Spanish Main converged on the town, eager to exchange their goods for the silver that fueled the empire's coffers. The streets teemed with activity, a chaotic mix of languages, cultures, and commerce. But this bustling center of trade, this beacon of prosperity, existed under the watchful eyes of the fortifications. Their presence was a constant reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. For the Spanish crown, the safe passage of the treasure fleet was paramount. The fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo were their insurance policy. The Spanish system, for all its might, was not infallible. The allure of silver, the promise of unimaginable wealth, proved too tempting for some. Pirates, privateers, and rival empires all sought to break the Spanish monopoly and claim a share of the New World's riches. The fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo faced numerous threats throughout their existence, testaments to the high stakes and constant dangers of the Caribbean in the Age of Empire. English privateers, often operating with the tacit approval of their crown, launched daring raids on Spanish settlements and shipping. The most famous of these was Sir Francis Drake, a skilled navigator and ruthless raider who terrorized Spanish shipping and even sacked Portobelo in 1595. Drake's exploits, celebrated in England and cursed in Spain, highlighted the vulnerability of the Spanish system despite its fortifications. The fortifications were also tested by natural disasters. The golden age of Spanish dominance in the Caribbean eventually waned. New trade routes emerged, and the importance of the transatlantic silver trade diminished. The fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo, once vital cogs in the Spanish imperial machine, gradually fell into disuse. Yet these silent sentinels, their walls weathered by time and their cannons silenced, were not forgotten. They stand today as poignant reminders of a tumultuous era, a time when the fate of empires was decided on the high seas and the riches of a continent flowed through these strategic strongholds. Their crumbling ramparts and silent cannons whisper tales of conquest, trade, piracy, and the enduring human struggle for power and wealth. Recognizing their historical and architectural significance, UNESCO designated the fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo as World Heritage Sites in 1980. This designation recognizes their outstanding universal value and underscores the importance of preserving these remarkable structures for future generations. Today, these fortifications are more than just tourist attractions. They are open-air museums, offering visitors a glimpse into a bygone era. Standing atop their ramparts, gazing out at the same seas that bore witness to centuries of history, one can almost hear the echoes of cannon fire, the bustle of trade, and the whispers of those who lived, fought, and died within their walls. The fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo stand today not as monuments to military might, but as weathered testaments to the ebb and flow of history. The echoes of Spanish ambition, the clang of silver, the clash of cutlass and cannon, they all reverberate within these stones. Yet the jungle encroaches, reclaiming what was once cleared, reminding us of nature's patient power. These fortresses, once symbols of dominance, now serve as poignant reminders of the fleeting nature of empires. The gold and silver are long gone, the trade routes shifted, the world remade many times over. Yet here on these coasts, the past feels close, tangible. Today, as we wander through the ruins, we are visitors to a vanished world. We imagine the sweat and toil of construction, the fear and anticipation of sieges, the echoes of daily life lived within these walls. And we are reminded that we too are but players on the stage of history. our own stories unfolding against the backdrop of time. The fortifications of Portobelo and San Lorenzo, in their ruin, have found new purpose. They stand as guardians not of treasure, but of memory. They beckon us to remember the lessons of the past, the complexities of ambition, the human cost of conquest, and the enduring power of the human spirit to create, destroy, and rebuild. They invite us to listen, to learn, and to carry their stories forward.